Finding an apartment in New York City can be super difficult. I've personally lived in 3 different apartments since I've lived in New York for the 4 years that I've stayed here. I moved in 2018, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you guys the best sites to find apartments quickly without the necessary paperwork that New York City apartments relatively require. So the major websites that people mostly use to find apartments are StreetEasy, Zillow, and Realtor.com. These websites are perfect to find an apartment. If you have money, if you make 40 times the rent, if you have a good credit score and you have the paperwork to fill out an application to move into a fancy apartment or just a chill apartment, Zillow, StreetEasy are the best sites to use to find an apartment. In order to get approved for an apartment in New York City, you need to make 40 times the rent with a credit score of at least 680. And if you don't make 40 times the rent, you can find a guarantor that makes 80 times the rent. And if you're self-employed, you need to make 80 times the rent.
It's crazy, I know.
But there's ways to finesse the system. I don't even got 40 times the rent. I've never made 40 times the rent, and I've been living in New York City scot-free, baby. Not free, but you know what I mean. The best sites to use, in my personal opinion, Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Here's why. A competitive market and a consistent increase in rent prices makes it more difficult for young people to move to the city. Facebook and Craigslist are the best sites to use to find an apartment in New York City if you're young and you don't have the paperwork. I promise you, yes, it can be a little scammy, but do not send money directly without actually viewing the apartment first or without actually meeting a person in real life. On Facebook, there are some fantastic groups to find apartments in New York City. For example, Gypsy Housing. You'll find a ton of apartments and rooms for rent. Facebook is also one of the best sites to use to find roommates in case you have an apartment but you need some roommates. Go on Facebook, you can look at the person's profile, check if they're a creep or not, FaceTime them, or video call them through Facebook, message them, get to know them, go on a coffee lunch, and interview your potential roommate. There are a plethora of Brooklyn Facebook groups that you could join to find New York City apartments. Examples like Housing in Brooklyn, Finding Roommates in New York City, and New York City Student Housing.
Craigslist.
Craigslist is a great site to find potential roommates or apartments, as well as Facebook. Just like Facebook, because Craigslist, you can directly contact the owner of the apartment, speak to him on a one-to-one basis, as opposed to going through a realtor and paying a broker's fee. Yes, I've heard some scammy situations on Craigslist. I repeat, make sure you do not send any money without actually physically walking into the apartment and meeting the people that you'll be paying your rent to. On Craigslist, to find an apartment, you could go through the housing section. You can find different threads: sublets, vacation rentals, and room shared if you want to share a room, or if someone is looking for a roommate. Craigslist is all about that. If I was you, I would be on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist every day looking for apartments. That's if I was serious on moving to New York City by myself. You could find rooms for $500, $1,000, $300, $600. If you're digging every single day, you can find affordable apartments. Thank you for watching.
Bueno, I'll be right back, Cancelo.